How's it going, everybody? I'm Jared Lutz, back with another Diablo 4 video. This time we're taking a look at an article written by Paul Tassi over on Forbes. He got the chance to interview game director Joe Shelley and GM Rod Fergusson about various topics, including information on Season 1. There's some nice info here as well as good conversations that I want to give some of my own opinions and thoughts on, so I figured why not? Let's just throw together a simple video, go through reading the article and sharing my thoughts on things. I'll leave the link to the article in the description. I'll also link Paul Tassi's YouTube channel there as well. He's a great guy that mostly covers Destiny and does Destiny related stuff, but he branches out and will be doing more Diablo stuff in the future. Simple things, talking about the game, giving his thoughts and opinions, that kind of thing. Alright, let's read this article. Diablo 4's Season of the Malignant launches on July 20th, and Blizzard just revealed its storyline and central mechanic last week. Players will be farming Malignant hearts to sock into armor for unique builds while attempting to clear the plague from the land. Ahead of next week, Paul got the chance to chat with game director Joe Shelley and franchise GM Rod Fergusson about the season, in which we went over a number of lingering questions. In terms of seasonal size, one thing that was made clear was that this season may be somewhat smaller than future ones. It's the first season of the game, and not only will they learn from it, it was also developed simultaneously while Diablo 4 was launching. From a management of expectations perspective, Fergusson said, when we talk about how the launch of Diablo 4 is the beginning, not the end, because we have a live service, that's one of the things people should think about with seasons as well. The reality is, this is our first season that we built while shipping Diablo 4 at the exact same time. This is the beginning of our seasonal journey in terms of where we can go from here. The season will not have time-gated missions or story beats, though they did not fully rule that out for the future. All of it will be available week 1, but it's less of a major storyline and what they just call a quest line to provide context to the central heart farming mechanic. The vast majority of the season will be grinding out those new builds. It helps describe what the Malignants are doing here, but it isn't going to be an act-like structure, Shelley said. In week 3 of the season, the primary content you're going to be focusing on is doing Malignant tunnels, getting those Malignant hearts, and caging them and optimizing your build. So yeah, I honestly kind of figured this first season would be smaller in size than future seasons. As someone who's been playing Destiny for ages now, usually the seasons that launch alongside big expansions always felt a bit lacking in terms of subsequent seasons. I still believe that Season 1 of D4 was supposed to launch alongside the game, and they either pushed it back to let the main game stand on its own without any seasonal mechanics or story to muddy the waters, or because it just wasn't ready for whatever reason. Maybe it would have been better to have Season 1 begin as soon as the game was released, that way it didn't have to stand on its own and had the base game there to distract from the smaller sized season. Then when Season 2 comes around, players are surprised when there's lots more content than what Season 1 had. I kind of fear that as it is now, Season 1 is not going to be enough for lots of players, especially players that are new to Diablo or new to the genre. I hope I'm wrong though. I also 100% foresee complaints from the community about why certain quality of life changes don't come alongside Season 1, and the reason for that is simply because Season 1 was developed while shipping the main game, like Rod said. It's been completed for a while now, where a lot of the changes the community wants to see are just going to take more time. Alright, let's continue. Here are other key bits of information about the season that came up during our chat. Some may be reiteration, some may be new. For players of other live games, one big difference is that all the content of Diablo 4 seasons is free. The storyline, the mechanics, the ability to create a seasonal character, a free chunk of the battle pass. The only paid thing is the $10 for the premium battle pass that just has cosmetics, plus any new shop items that get added separately. There is a more expensive accelerated battle pass that comes with an exclusive cosmetic, but it's just an emote, not like an insanely cool horse or armor set or something. Since some players may be confused, to get to rank 100 in the battle pass, your character does not have to be anywhere near level 100 by the end of the season. Quote, "We want to make sure that players playing at varying intensities can still complete the battle pass," Shelley said. That even if you're playing just a few hours a week, if you're doing challenges, you should be able to finish the full battle pass by the end of the 12-week season. Yeah, this is great news all around. Hitting level 100 takes a long time. There was no way they were going to make you hit level 100 just to reach the highest rank in the battle pass. That would be insane, especially for the casual player base. Character level isn't going to have anything to do with it. The bulk of the XP for the Battle Pass, I imagine, will be earned from the Season Journey objectives and the Season Journey chapters, and then you'll likely hit max rank somewhere in the end game. And remember, the season will last 12 weeks versus the 6 weeks that this weird preseason time has lasted. The Battle Pass will be the first place that you can earn Platinum, the game's premium currency in the game besides buying it outright in a bundle. It's like Fortnite putting V-Bucks in its Battle Pass, but it will not be enough to fully buy the next season's Battle Pass. Or over time, you could save it up to buy an expensive armor set. But there is at least some in there. There are some class-specific heart abilities out of the 32 that are coming with the season, and some neutral ones everyone can use. The new permanently added legendary aspects and uniques are supposed to be a mix of neutral and class specifics as well. I do believe it's been confirmed already by community manager Adam Fletcher that there will be 7 new legendary aspects, 1 for each class and 2 class agnostic ones, and also 6 new uniques, 1 for each class and 1 class agnostic one. The heart sockets are separate from gem sockets, so both can be used except for jewelry, which only has a heart socket, which will be converted to a normal socket after the season ends. There is no new ranks of gems above Royal coming this season for more merging. There will indeed be a new Nightmare Dungeon rotation this season and every season, as has been previously said. Yeah, so if you didn't know this, now you do. Currently there's 30 different dungeons that have Nightmare versions available. In Season 1, all of these dungeons will change to new ones. So for example, Champion's Demise, Serpent's Lair, Core Dragon Barracks, Alderwood, Witchwater, just to name a few, those will no longer have the Nightmare variations next season. We'll instead have 30 different dungeons to grind Nightmare versions of. Honestly, this is a great system, I personally think. That way we're not running these same dungeons every single season all the time. Paul goes on to write that unlike the past mid-season patch, which was 99% buffs, there will indeed be nerfs coming with the seasonal start. Shelley didn't get into specifics, but gave a familiar quote, "We have to nerf some things sometimes, we can't always buff all other things" answer that most games like this have to address at some point. There is one new Uber unique coming this season. They previously said there wasn't, but he corrected that later. I pressed them on the absolutely insane drop rates. Quote, "It's easy to add additional opportunities to get that thing. It's harder to go the other way where you have something that's common," Shelley said. They indicated that in the future, the drop rates or paths to acquisition may not be quite as 1 in a million rare as they are now. Do not yell at Paul when this happens. One new Uber unique is interesting for sure, especially when the drop rates are so unbelievably low still. I personally think the rates need to be very slightly buffed to where more than just a handful of people in the world have these items. But I also don't want them to be easy to get. I don't mind it taking seasons upon seasons to ever get one, but the way the drop rates are now, I don't know, it seems just a smidge too rare. But it sounds like eventually they may not be as rare as they are now if they end up adding in ways that give you more direct opportunities to obtain them. We'll have to see. Definitely interested in what this new Uber unique is though. Nice to have confirmation on that. Paul goes on to ask about why a lot of the uniques feel underpowered compared to legendary counterparts, and they said that uniques are not meant to be an ultimate level of gear necessarily above legendaries paired with aspects. They're supposed to slide in alongside certain builds to make them unique rather than be outright better than anything else. It is not the you must get every unique to have every viable build option system that we've seen in the past. Finally, Paul asked why it was that the campaign was a requirement to play the season, given that in video games in general, only a fraction of players actually finish campaigns, much less ones as long as Diablo 4's. They said that A, they think the campaign is good and everyone should experience it, and B, the campaign is a good on-ramp into all these systems of the game, and just dropping people into World Tier 3 and all the endgame activities, it would be confusing. But if you want to jump straight into the season before beating the campaign, you only need to beat it once on one character, by the way. You can join a friend who has done so. So, a lot of interesting stuff in there. Thanks to the guys for speaking to Paul as always. Season of Malignant launches on July 20th. Alright, and that's the article. Once again, I'll leave the link to it in the description. I just thought, I don't know, I figured it'd be a good read, some solid info in there that everyone might not yet know about. I've got a ton of other video ideas in the pipeline, so stay tuned for more Diablo 4 content, more highly edited content. This was just something simple to do. And of course, I'll be covering the news as it breaks as well, kind of like this. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna bounce. Peace.